Family, this is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa.
Don't do that.
So, it's a big year about, America's economy and, is America going to fall? Rest assured, life is going to go on. Whether the dollar doesn't do well or not, life is going to go on. But there are indicators that are out here, family, that a lot of you all just don't know because maybe you're not educated in the economies, or you're not involved in investings, or just don't really understand how some of these systems in place work. I don't claim to be an expert in any of it. I've lived through a few, if you want to call depressions, if you will. They don't like to call them depressions these days because they know it's going to instill a lot of fear, So, they call either, market corrections, these little chimey words in order to try to make it seem safe, that people don't get caught up into a fear, which causes even that much more of a disruption in the economy. So, but, for those who's at least old enough to remember the housing bubble that burst in 2009, what effect it had. For you all who's this last year seeing the effects of what COVID did and the inflation of things costing more, so you even have experience. But a lot of people don't sit back and really discern the behaviors of people. And that is the key. What effects does the industries have on you when these so-called the stock market or the banking system, the housing system begins to change and behave differently? What effects does that have on you? Now, most people, they don't think it has an effect because we don't pay attention to, the cost of living or access of getting money through loans like that. Trying to obtain property, buying, whether it's rental property, buying bit.
Let me apologize real quick for the distortion in the video feed on the screen. Sometimes it lags. I've been doing that off and on lately. I'm pretty sure I have the same problem. I heard about this other thing going on, and that kind of distorted the horn top picture, even like he was barely even be seeable. So let's not assume anything. And plus, this camera I'm using is a camera phone, which means it's a low. The camera on the camera phone is actually really not that good at all. You're basically using pixels. It's like pixel camera. Anyways, so don't assume anything. Plus, that wouldn't have to happen for you to tell. It would have been obvious. I'm pretty sure within the first couple of minutes, he'd been talking for 2 minutes and a half. So let's not assume anything. Let's just listen to him say he's giving us a good education on the economy.
Businesses that you're going to find that the market will either slow down, meaning that they're not going to, give out a lot of these loans, or it's open to give and a little bit more liberties in giving loans. A lot of people don't understand that. But for the common man that is out here, let me break it down for you. All right? Again, I'm not one of these guys out here who shoots a lot of stuff outside of their neck. They talk big words. They talk things like you're like, I don't get it. In its simplistic forms, understanding what it is that's going on, I can break it down to you easy. All right. Currently, you're seeing now Wells Fargo, one that's probably leading the pack, Bank of America and all, they are now starting to do away with the lines of credit. Okay, what is a line of credit? A line of credit is nothing more than a person who's what they consider your value is, or your credit is, that you can go in and open up a line of credit that you can borrow from, pay back, borrow from, pay back, borrow from, pay back. And you can pay back according to whether it might be incremental. You can pay back in advance if you want. You can pay it back at a certain duration, but it behaves differently than a regular loan that you would go get. Now, typically they say lines of credit might have a little higher interest rate, but there are benefits when it comes to getting a line of credit over just a regular loan. Now, Wells Fargo just recently claims that they did this so that they can make it more beneficial for their customers to have more opportunities in the credit card industry than the credit line industry. Woe to the man who don't understand what that means. Really, the credit card will keep you longer in debt than a credit line will. See, a credit line can be used for basically anything. Going to get a loan, you have to use it for something specific. But in that credit line, you have the liberty to pay it off. It stays open. You can go get it. You can use your credit line to go buy anything that you want to. There's no specifics really per se on what you can go buy with that money you're getting. But what they're doing is they're tightening up their money. That means then that they are now closing up all these credit lines because they really don't know the behaviors of when people are going to start using it. See, a credit card, they know when you use it. When you go straight to go ahead and use it, boom. But when a line of credit is open, they can't measure. So for instance, there's 10 people out here who got credit lines. Let's say all of them got $10,000 lines of credit that are open. That's $100,000. Well, you don't know when they are going to use it, which means then the money that you're going to use to loan that money to them, it's got to come from somewhere. And if you don't know when they're going to use it and when you got to distribute that money, it could prohibit you from operating in fashions that typically would.
What the hell's going on with my computer?
Credit line is that people are not like they used to. How do you know that, Go Black? Where does business loans, car loans, house loans come from? They come from your savings account. And if people are now, because when the dollar is weaker, that means people start now that, let's give you an example. Let's say you make $1,000 a month, right? You pay your bills, right? You pay your car note, you pay your house mortgage, your utilities and all that. And let's just say you got $150 left.
Now you see, I just want to point something out because this is crazy. See how bad this whole screen is lagging? Like my computer's lagging. His shit probably was lagging too. I just want you to know that. Now, because it's lagging pretty bad on my side and probably on his side. It's distorting the freaking, like, I don't know if you can see what I see, but the waves, you see all these waves all around and all through the whole screen? It's distorting the screen big time. And if you didn't know any better, you would think he was something that he's not, but it's actually not. Then I paused it, he's still in action of moving. Now his hand is not, well, it don't look like it's shifting. Don't seem like it's shifting. At the same time though, there's a rift all through the whole screen. And I don't want to say a rift, that's actually, I kind of overstated if I say that. It's a distortion due to everything lagging and probably the government messing with my damn screen. So don't assume anything, you know.
Left over.
But this is actually a prime example of how somebody could actually, now I think about it, this is how somebody could make somebody seem like they're something they're not. And my advice to teachers, you're better off probably only showing your face, because if your camera's lagging, like I'm pointing my camera at this dude, and now my camera's straight on this side, on a camera phone, yeah. But my screen's all fucked. The screen's messed up. It's doing stupid stuff. So that's why you don't assume anything. Yeah, if you get somebody on a screen where it's not doing that stuff, and you ain't got to pause and none of that stuff to see it, you ain't got to zoom in, you ain't got to do nothing to the screen at all, you ain't got to use no technology, and then they show themselves, that's different. It would be dumb obvious because you would see green and whole bunch of type shit. But I just kind of feel bad because the lagging of my laptop is doing this brother injustice. So that's what I'm saying. Don't assume nothing. And I don't want to sit there and trash somebody and y'all be like, oh yeah, this and that. Mr. The News Show. No, that's not what I'm showing because this screen's all it's messing up. So listen to what he's saying, though, at least, please. Because what he's telling you as far as the banking system and economy is true, it is definitely going to crash.
And you've been operating pretty good off of that $150. You might go out to buy yourself lunch one day, all right? You might take you and your woman out and, to dinner. Or the kids to entertainment place, the movies, right? Money spent, like you're broke, you're waiting on the next payday. Because of inflation, that same dollar that you were spending last year, and now all of a sudden, inflation's hitting because of COVID, meaning prices have gone up. Your wife out to dinner. Because now, guess what? The prices of the food went up from $25 a plate to $32 a plate. The movies prices went up from $5 per movie to $8 per movie. The gasoline went up, from $2.50 a gallon to...
The funny thing is this wasn't doing this last night. My computer screen was not lagging last night, so I know the government is doing something they ain't supposed to be doing, so screw them. But see, this looks a lot better now. $3. They must have stopped messing with it because I kept saying something.
$1 a gallon. Everything around you went up. And the little money you had left over that you were keeping in your bank, you're spending it. So the banks can't rely on that money. They can't distribute it out. That means then they have to come up with something else. These lines of credit is what they were banking on to be able to allow people to say, I can go ahead in my line of credit of a loan, go put money towards something, and I'm going to pay it back. They can't measure it now because they're losing faith because they see that people are now starting to spend more out of their savings account because of inflation. Now, this is just one indicator. Now, I'm here to tell you this right here too, all right? Because I have people ask me about investings and stocks and bonds and all that. I'm out of that business. I got out of that business when I found out the truth about it.
Pull your money out of all stocks and bonds if you're smart. Are not when rich that economy crash, you're screwed.
Have money to lose.
Even if you are rich.
You should not be in investments. Now, I know that people are out here and they got, money in crypto, money over here in some stocks and stuff like that. Do you?
Crypto's gonna fall too. Stop wasting money with Bitcoin, all that. It's a waste of time.
Because how do you know it's corrupt? Go back. Okay, all right, let's look at it. When the feds came in and fined a lot of these investment firms who were lying about the perspective, lying about how much they were worth, lying about how much they were making, and then they wound up getting penalized, that shows you that the stock market that is so booming right now that they're showing, it's all a lie. Who makes up the stock market? The businesses do. The corporations do. They're the ones that make up the stock market. And if these CEOs and those board members are fictitiously putting out reports so that they don't lose the confidence of their investors, showing that they have this amount of assets and they're doing well, that means then the stock market is a lie. And a lot of these companies are willing to lie and are willing to go ahead to take the penalty. Why? Who pays for the penalty? You. You're paying for the penalty. There's nothing out of their pockets. You're going to wind up paying for the penalty because when they have had their assets stocked up, which I talked about the previous video, in their assets that they have, they're taking it out of your investment, your pockets that you have built this company. Go Black Pepper, how's it, man? The common man right here, man, we out here just struggling. How is it going to affect us? I mean, we're not into stocks and investments and all that, but some of you all are.
true. Some people are.
Let me tell you why the
Don't have
crypto
money
right
like
now
that.
is suffering. I'm gonna tell you this right here. This game has been played, and they don't even want to. A lot of people don't understand investments because they don't know history.
Right.
Cryptocurrency is just like the stock market. It's a pyramid scheme.
Right.
The rich keep getting richer and the
Right.
poor keeps getting poorer.
Right.
Why? The common man who goes in and invests his money don't even understand most about investments. The common man puts his money in and he behaves basically out of fear when it comes to his stock or his mutual fund or his portfolio begins to show signs of going down. And because he had been putting his little money away, he don't want to take a loss. But he doesn't understand that is if you go ahead and sell out, you take a loss. If you sit tight, you may be able to recover if it bounced back with a big if. Why? There's a lot of
Sometimes,
things that can
not
happen
all
when
the
it comes
time.
to
You're
giving
taking
people your
50-50
money and
chance.
giving them the opportunity to do with your money what they so please. Why? Because the top is going to be taken care of first when it comes to losses. Then it trickles down to you, the common man. See, this whole thing when it came to the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, and why the Bitcoin dropped and all right there. See, when Elon Musk came out and made a statement, when they had these people make statements, intentional statements, which they pay these people to say, which causes a frenzy in the market, fear, people begins to start to sell off. But what they did in the cryptocurrency, because a lot of these guys that are high who got the money in the crypto, and they see that it is not as receptive right now at this point in time, they can go ahead and get rid of some of theirs that they so choose. Why? Because they know people like you are going to buy it. Because when they got Elon to say that, this is going to do bad, that ain't don't look good, this and that, then everybody reacts off of it. Those who got a lot of it begins to throw it out. Because they know it reached its peak in the 61,000, I think it got up to. I can sell this off. I know the poor man is going to be trying to buy some of it, thinking it's still a deal. And then when all of a sudden now their fears, when the poor...
In other words, it's not a deal. They only sell you some of it with the intention to crash it back down. And they take a small hit, you take the big hit, and then because you see, and a lot of times that's obviously not going to jump back, you sell, and they buy it for pennies on the dollar. And then they make sure that they value it 10 times worth more than what they even sold it for or what it was for at the time it had reached its peak, playing you and keeping them rich. In other words, the game is rigged. They hold the cards, you'll never win. If you hold on to your stock, they will crash your stock enough so it hurts them a little bit, but hurts you to the full point so you have no stock. So it doesn't matter if you sell or don't sell, either way, they will make sure that your portion will crash so that they get your portion back. And then they get to do the same to so sad Joe Schmo. We're not done with this economy lesson, part 2, when I come back.